Live and in living color. It's your boy, Sanzo. Sanzomatic. Y'all know how the thing go. We back. It's the Xperts once again. Best sports podcast in the country. Best sports podcast in the nation. It's your boy, Sanzo. Here with my co-hosts, G and CJ the X Factor. What is poppin', gents?
What's good? Can't even post today. All our predictions come true.
I mean, but to be honest, okay, well, let's just say we made the obvious choice, but it didn't look so obvious from the looks of the game.
Right.
Yeah, I started sweating a little bit, babe, to be honest. But then as I saw how the game was going, especially the second half, I said, all right, I think the Rams have enough to pull this one off. And they did just that. So let's talk about it, babe. Let's talk about it. X-Father did put it. Let's talk about it. What's your thoughts on that game?
I just want to say that the entire NFL postseason has been spectacular. I mean, honestly, I've never watched a more exciting postseason.
Yeah, from start to finish.
Yeah,
from start to finish.
It did not disappoint. I mean, even halftime show, like everything was on point this year.
But I mean, a halftime show that rank up there. Like really, that rank up there. Now, everybody's be talking about the Michael Jackson one. I don't think I ever really watched the Michael Jackson performance live, so I can't really say that this performance topped the Michael Jackson one, obviously. But out of the ones that I've watched,
yeah,
it's really.
But I think this greatest of all time. No, I don't think so. I mean, we'd have to have a great discussion for that. But no, yeah, it definitely rank up there for real. But the game, yeah, like you say, bro, the game, it started to set a little bit too, to be honest. But to be honest with you, I have more faith in the Rams defense than I do their offense, right? And when I see Jalen Ramsey keep getting,
everybody's getting torched.
And I knew Chase was going to kill him, right? But I didn't think Chase was going to destroy him. I think I even saw a clip where the last play, where Joe gets sacked, Ramsey's on the floor and Chase is wide open. If he didn't get sacked, that would have been game.
Yeah. He's getting torched all game, but and I was hoping he had a bounce back game. I give him a blind one play. They missed the face mask call earlier.
Yeah, right, they did.
So I gave him a blind with that one.
He had me nervous.
But he had
because I'm like, bro, if their defense getting killed like this, ain't no
way. There's no way. And they was targeting him, but that's a sad part. Bro, you one of the best corners in the league, and this whole entire playoffs teams are showing that they ain't scared of you. They willing to go at you.
Yeah.
But
Aaron Donald, that dude, it's so clutch. I mean, this really ain't even a word just used to describe, defensive players, but this dude is clutch, bro. Like if you need a stop, you could put your faith in him.
He got it. So what do you think about? You mentioned Aaron Donald, right? I went in a group chat. I said that I believe he should have been the Super Bowl MVP. Although I will admit that Cooper Kupp was definitely a worthy recipient, right? What do you think? I said he was Super Bowl MVP. You said Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I follow your logic in that. Donald was consistent the entire game, but I think what they factor in is the fact that Cooper got them out the hole they was in.
Most definitely.
Because it was at a point where the offense was stagnant, they couldn't get nothing going, especially after OBJ went down. And Stafford was like, well, you know what? If I lose in, throwing the
throwing it.
Cooper Cup,
Yep, yep,
and he threw every single ball the Cooper Cup
yeah.
then in that fourth quarter.
And but it's so funny because you saw when the switch did flip, right? Because
Yeah.
it was like it was like wait, like no other receiver could have get open. I mean, you had Bengals playing man coverage and no receiver could have get separation
Mhm.
at all. And
And-
obviously, it's putting two on Cooper Cup. And but it's almost like you saw the switch flip in real time, and this play just is like, you know what? I don't care how much they put on this play. Get open, and I can try pass the ball. Try get open a little piece, and I can pass.
and what made it even more amazing is the fact that everybody I just saw I just read an article that said 102.8 million people watch the Super Bowl. 100 and 112, sorry, 112.8 million people knew the ball was going to Cooper Cup,
Yep,
and they could
yep.
not stop it.
Could not
So,
stop it.
so I mean, given that, and given the flip of the switch, like you say, was like, you know what, they was going to lose if not for Cooper Cup, and I think
Yeah,
that's what factored in his MVP.
yeah. I definitely think that factored in. And at the end of the day, you could only really score on offense, right? I mean, you could always get a fumble or an interception and score, but you score on offense.
Yeah,
So uh, at the end of the day, I think, like you said, he got them out of the hole or the rut they was in, um, and that's what allowed them to win the game. The reason why I felt so confident that they would have won the game eventually is in the second half. I mean, after that field goal that the Bengals kicked, um, Aaron Donald just put on and along with Von Miller as well. Um, he just put on a defensive masterclass. But I mean, them dudes wasn't even getting in the field goal range,
yeah,
and Stafford and the offense couldn't get anything going. And it's almost like even as they marched off the field, you didn't really feel too bad because like, but the defense gonna get stopped, yes. Uh, and they just get timely stop after timely stop. And it gave me the confidence to say, but the Rams have enough. They just could get one drive down the field. They have enough uh, to win this game. Obviously, we know uh, they wasn't gonna kick a field goal. They was gonna go for it on 4th and 8 if it came to that. But they had enough to get down the field, make a play, and then even on the ensuing plays after that, Aaron Donald came up with two big stops on 3rd and 4th down
yeah.
to seal the game. Two big direct stops, right? So, yeah, but I thought the performance he put on, um, I thought it was nothing short of MVP worthy. Um, what did you think of uh, those flags at the end of the game, the 3rd down, that's 3rd and 8? Um,
I thought that it was a makeup call. I thought that I don't think it was intentional, but I think after it was blown, it was like, bro, you know what, we owe them one, in which they definitely did because the one that they missed, was a scoring play.
mhm.
But I thought it was a makeup call to do it, but I don't think it was intentional. As in, let me call this to make up the call that I did. I
Yeah, for
think
sure.
after it was called, they was like, bro, you know what? Let's just leave that because we leave the last one. But because Dua time was around him, so maybe the ref did think, you know what? There's some resistance there. But after looking at it, it was like, bro, we can't change that because we didn't change the last one. You know what I mean?
hmm
So
That was a big play, boy. That was a huge play. Uh, and after that, it just seemed like the flags start to come out to the point where the Rams basically could have walked the ball into the end zone after all them flags. Uh, and I was like, man, at no point, like even if Matt Stafford did field pressure in that moment,
yeah.
the amount of penalties that the Bengals would get, like afterwards, just like, wait, if I don't score here, I probably shouldn't be in the NFL.
But you could chalk it up to the Bengals, inexperience and at the moment getting to them as well,
Yeah.
because that's most of the time that's when flags comes, when you make mistakes, when you too eager or when you
Anxious.
overcompensating for something. So you could talk it up too to the Rams and experience and not being poised in that moment where those flies came from. But
Yeah,
I mean, the poise of Cooper Cup and just making big play after big play after big play, knowing that basically you was the only target was incredible. I mean,
yeah, but that was a masterclass, but I mean the focus that he had to have, like you said, knowing that, but I'm the only target. Like they only trying to get this football to me, and I gotta find some way to shake two guys, get open. Um, like, but
I wasn't sure if they was gonna get that last touchdown though. Obviously, red zone scores is much tougher, and
yeah,
I was like, bro, I don't know if they because everybody know where the ball going. I'm thinking, okay, you could run it this time. You can do it legit, drop back, do it to Cooper Cup again. I'm like, okay, don't throw it this time. Run, because they know you're going to Cooper Cup.
nigga
He was
said
like, yeah, so what?
that. But they still, they can still through it.
That was
Oh man,
I mean,
but
like you say, we picked the safe choice. I wouldn't say it was obvious, but it was the safer of the two choices.
yeah, but that was big time. That was big time.
I guess the question now is, what do you think about the potential of the Bengals?
It's tough because on one hand they had a really really great run, right? But I think um, people don't really realize, maybe not now, but maybe they'll realize later, how unprecedented their run was, right?
Hmm.
You're talking about, I read somewhere, I think Joe Burrow was sacked like 51 times total this year, and that's the most ever by a quarterback playing in the Super Bowl. Like, and by a big margin too, right? So your quarterback gets sacked that much, you usually don't have any chance at
Right,
getting that far. Like,
right. So we'll be, and then I noticed that too even during the game. I was like, bro, this dude getting sacked a record number of times. Even when he got sacked 9 games versus the Titans, a record number of times. I think he got sacked what 7 games that in the Super Bowl,
yeah,
a record number of times, and still winning though.
still winning games.
Right,
Still winning games. I don't
like
want to call it fluky, right? I don't want to call it fluky because I think that's disrespectful to him. And that's also disrespectful to the weapons they have. But I think more often than not, you really ain't any really could break through like that. Like you get sacked how much times against the wrong team,
yeah.
right? Then it's curtains,
But
right?
and that's one aspect of it. But then I mean, I guess the main aspect is his health is always in question if he getting hit that much.
Yeah,
Right,
for
his
sure.
first season he already was already cut short with injury.
Hmm. Then
This
he
season,
injured the
he,
next leg.
and then this season he made it, and I think he even did get injured in the Super Bowl. But he's
He
like,
did, yeah, he struggled off.
right,
We don't know the extent of that injury,
yeah,
but it was his opposite. It was his other leg, and that
right,
looked bad on
right.
seeing it live.
But the point is like that's going to keep happening if you can't protect him.
Definitely, definitely. So I do think they need to invest a lot in their offensive line, um, for sure. Other than that, I think they have a chance to be one of the top teams in the AFC. I don't know if I put them as a perennial contender because, I mean, they didn't really blow teams away this year. They were a pretty good team that made what we call again the other week a Cinderella run.
Yeah,
And um, Cinderella runs, just what they are. They are Cinderella runs. Um, I think I have to see a little bit more consistent dominance from them on a regular basis. Um, and I mean, you can't play the what if game because they made it there and they were so close to winning. But do I expect him to be back? For sure. Um, when will he be back? I don't know. The AFC tough. Expect the Chiefs to retool, make some noise. Expect the Bills to come bounce back. Expect the Ravens to retool and try to get Lamar Jackson some help. So the AFC ain't gonna be no slouch.
no,
Uh, So
I mean, bro, but they got some weapons, bro, and the way they put it together. I mean, Chase is incredible.
he's a yeah, he's an incredible player.
Joe Mixon, you knew he would have been an X factor, and he stepped up to the plate. Um, I don't know, like you said, yeah, we just gotta see. I mean, the NFL is so unpredictable.
Hmm.
This team could have all the pieces and still not make it. So I mean, I know. You could never sit there and say, yeah, for sure, this team making it next year. Not even the Rams,
Not even
as
the Rams. Yeah, I just
talented
want to mention
and as
not even the
equipped
Rams.
as they are, for you to sit here and say making it next year.
So speaking of them, how do you feel about? Well, I mean, obviously they went all in on winning the Super Bowl. We talked about it already. How they had a super team with one goal set in mind, that they was going to win this thing, and they was not going to leave it up to chance,
Yeah.
and they accomplished that. But how do you feel about their prospects in the coming years? Do you think it really means that much to them in the coming years? Because this could easily be, like you say, a one and done for them.
Uh, very good. I mean, X Factor always talked about the small window NFL teams have, and given this Rams team, given how their contract structured, uh, their window probably even smaller, right? Because they can't pay everybody to come back. OBJ, I think, has to get paid this summer, right?
He definitely will get paid this summer. Aaron Donald contemplating retirement.
Right, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Retirement. So I mean, if they run it back, it has to be now. And funny thing is, you have we don't know the extent of OBJ's injury, right? I don't think they said if he tore his ACL or not yet. They just felt it's ACL tear.
Yeah, that's what they feel.
So we don't know the extent of his injury yet. But then they also have Woods coming back next year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So even if OBJ isn't there,
Yeah, they
Woods
still have another guy.
and this team is just so deep, bro.
Yeah, they stock. They stock. But like you say, little key injuries or little things in that could always deter you from winning the ultimate prize. Like you say, we see what happened when OBJ went down in the first half. How much that stagnated their offense completely.
It did, man.
Right.
And not even that there was no one that was capable of stepping up. It's just that the game plan was just centered around him and Cup. So it's like,
Yep.
and he gone. You have to adjust on the fly,
Flat.
and that ain't easy to do.
Yeah. And just imagine how that defense would look. We don't know. Again, we don't know if Aaron Donald decides to retire. Does Vaughn Miller stay on another year? These are things that you have to contemplate if you're the Rams.
Yeah.
Do I still think that they'd be a tough team in the NFC? They'd probably be a tough out either way. But I mean, if you lose your best player, then one of your fourth or fifth best players, third or fourth, fifth best players, then it could get rough. It could get rough. So, football is the ultimate team sport, but great players do make a big difference. They do make a big difference. But other than that, I mean, a really, really entertaining game. X Factor, you let you back now, so we could get your thoughts on what you like most about that game.
Oh boy. Sorry, fans, that y'all had to listen to Sans ramble for the past 20 minutes. But yeah, that was a great game. First of all, I don't know how Sans can come running on. First thing after the game, everybody having a good time. He comes slapping up in people chat, oh, Aaron Donald should be MVP. Like what? Like, did you not watch the same game we watch? Or did Zediness have a delay?
So tell me why.
Really?
Tell me why Cooper Cup should be.
What?
I already said Cooper Cup was a worthy recipient of the awards. Let me just say that he's a worthy recipient.
This is a contradiction.
However,
Guy boy,
Aaron Donald was the main reason that he had a chance to win that game. Let's just keep it a buck. He was the main reason they had a chance to win that game.
Right?
He was consistent over the course of the entire game. Cooper Cup, not his fault, because he was being double teamed, right? He was being phased out of the game, basically. Bengals defense said, make someone else beat you. So it's not his fault. We could assign blame to that elsewhere. But at the end of the day, Aaron Donald was consistent in the way he performed, especially in the second half. Now, Coach, speak.
First of all, what is the strongest part of the Bengals defense? I mean, the Bengals offense.
What's the strongest part of Bengals offense?
Mm-hmm.
What, Burrow?
Whatever it is, it's showing in the offensive line. The point is, Aaron Donald has been consistent the whole game against a sorry offensive line that's been giving up sacks all. And Aaron Donald, taking nothing away from him,
Agreed.
is one of the best defensive linemen of all time. I give him that. But you're not going up against anybody. So we expect you to perform when you want to perform. On the other hand, this Bengal defense is the same defense that went up against Patrick Mahomes. And how much yards and receptions did Tyreek Hill have? Not much. It's the same defense that went up against Julio Jones. How much yards and receptions he had? Not much. But this the same defense that come against Cooper Cup, double team, and Odell Beckham out of the game, with Jefferson dropping everything in sight. And the running game ain't working. You know that they come in the Cooper Cup. This running back can't get out the backfield. Odell out the game. The tight end hurt. Their starting tight end was hurt. Literally have nothing but Cooper Cup on the field. And you let this fella drive down play after play after play. And you even see a pass. They trying to praise. Even Matthew Stafford was like, oh, I didn't know it was like that. Matthew Stafford made a no-look pass. He was like, well, the game on the line. What's the worst I could do here? I come from Detroit. So all Dog say was, let it fly. He didn't even look at Cooper Cup. Dog say, anyway, Cooper Cup out there someplace. I can put it in the middle of the field. He can run into the ball. And you can tell me that don't deserve MVP? Like I say, Donald played a good game. But boy, without Cooper Cup, that's a blow. Easy blow. I don't care how good Donald play. They just can't get blown without Cooper Cup.
Well, listen, you have to score. Like I said on G, you got to score. You have to score, right? That's the only way you could win the game, to score, right? So making a case for defensive player to win MVP is always going to be hard.
Yeah, he had to been like a Vaughn. Like, he didn't even have a Vaughn Miller performance. Like, he had a good performance. Vaughn Miller was the last defensive person. What?
And Aaron had like
2 sacks. 2 sacks. Let's get the stats correct.
He had 2 sacks.
2 sacks.
Yeah, he created a lot more that didn't count the stat sheet, but he had 2 sacks. 2 official.
But when Vaughn Miller is the last person to win Finals Super Bowl MVP as a defensive lineman, and Vaughn Miller went crazy that game. Not taking anything away from, like I say, Aaron Donald. But Aaron Donald's Super Bowl game wasn't as dominant as Vaughn Miller's Super Bowl game.
I think the biggest thing for Cooper Cup and him winning it, which is why I don't have a problem with him winning it, but I think the biggest thing is, like you said, being double team. The entire final drive, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup made a conscious decision. And everybody who was watching could have seen it. Conscious decision that I only going to pass the ball to you. I ain't going to fake off and look elsewhere and pass to nobody else. I going to try to pass the ball to you. And as much time as we get down this field, that's how we could do it. And like you say, it was pure will and determination. And of course, skill. And that he was able to get open.
It ain't the fact that this is someone also who sneak you. Cooper Cup has been carrying this team all season. Don't forget, this team legit crawled to the finish line. If you look at it, Robert Woods got injured. The running back, Cam Akers, he just came back. He got injured at the beginning of the season. Then you had Robert Woods going down for the whole season. Then you get Odell. Odell come, help you get to the Super Bowl. Then Odell get injured in the Super Bowl. The tight end got injured. So this whole big superstar offense that was supposed to come together and be the super team, legit crawling to the finish line. The one consistent piece on that team from start of preseason to the last catch and last play of the Super Bowl was Cooper Cup. Every single game, this man was consistent. Every single game, this man touched every cornerback that they put on him. And coming down that stretch, like you say, you could make a conscious decision that you go in Cooper Cup and Cooper Cup can catch the ball. Right now, today, as I was telling people, Cooper Cup today, right now, is a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. Right now. I don't hear no crap with no Devontae Adams. I don't hear no crap with no Stephon Diggs. I don't hear no crap with nothing. When you could lead the league in yards, touchdowns, receptions, lead the playoffs in yards, touchdown, receptions, and then you lead your team down the field and get 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl against a tough defense that know they throwing the ball to you, bro, at this point in time, you have a case for number 1.
I mean, you have a strong case. You have a strong case for number 1. And doing it on the bigger stage is what matters most in a lot of people's minds, for sure. It'd be interesting to see how they perform next year in a repeat year. Oh, but I mean, like you said, you perform all year, all playoffs, and you have to give it them. You know what I mean? You have to give it them. That like we said all along, the Rams is a start team. And the good thing about being a start team is you can rely on dudes when other dudes follow. And that's what they did with Cooper.
I saw something today where they was talking about Matthew Stafford as a Hall of Famer. Man, I say, hold on now.
Hey, Richard Sherman, eat that right up.
Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop with every and anybody. Y'all starting to bring down. Y'all starting to bring down the level. And that's why I tell you about the NBA. When they start to let certain people in the Hall of Fame because of either longevity or likability or he was a fan favorite. Like, bro, come on.
I can find Richard Sherman.
That's not the NBA. That's the MLB doing that. That ain't the NBA.
No. The MLB is tell you Cole. You see Barry Bonds then can't get in. Mark McGwire like this. Yeah, but still, you cheated. You ain't like this speculation. You tested positive for performance enhancers, so that's different. You legit cheated. But with these other sports, it's like the NBA starting to get like that. Like, bro, chill out. You can't let any and everybody in there because they had a good season. One good season doesn't give you Hall of Fame.
So let me read what Richard Sherman had to say about it. Right? So Richard Sherman says, he said, I'm going to talk about it on my podcast, but the Hall of Fame bar is incredibly low now. It's like a participation trophy.
Yeah.
No all-decade game, no all-pro, no MVP, 1 Pro Bowl, not even MVP of the Super Bowl. Never considered the best in any year he's ever played.
At any point in time.
At least Matt Ryan has an MVP. He did nothing spectacular. He did good, not great. He made a few wow passes, made a few face palm passes. Aaron Donald and Vaughn are the 2 Hall of Famers that he should thank. There is no measuring stick that makes Stafford a Hall of Famer other than playing in the most passer-happy decade in NFL history. Inflated numbers make every QB that starts 10-plus years a Hall of Fame.
Okay, he started off strong, then he get a little salty at the end. He get a little salty at the end because at the end of the day, the top quarterbacks in all the stats in NFL history have played. None of these young fellas even getting close to that rate up and now. So don't come with that pass half thing because Aaron Rodgers ain't close to Tom Brady numbers. You have all the Mahomes them got a long way to go. Like yes, it's pass happy, but it's not consistent pass. Don't make it seem like Matthew Stafford playing in a league where he himself is putting up 5,000 yards a season. So like I say, I agree with Sherman at the beginning that you really dropping the bar now because you let Matthew Stafford in with 1 Super Bowl on a super team. 1 Super Bowl on a super team.
They ain't called super team now.
Man, you gotta say who he win with. Don't forget, y'all. We do hold that against LeBron and the NBA. When we say, man, big man, listen, you had to go to Miami.
The fans is all against him, but the award shows ain't hold that against him.
No, yeah, but you still gotta hold that against him.
Yeah, but we ain't talking about like we ain't taking it away from him, you know. But we just saying, if you're talking about Hall of Fame now, come on.
That's what I'm
We can-
saying. Like,
Right. We comparing you to the great.
exactly.
It gotta be legit. Nah, we
If you
just
put him
saying-
in there, who you got to put what? I think, to be honest, without the ring, I think Andrew Luck had a better career than Matthew Stafford. If Andrew Luck was healthy and Andrew Luck came to play the season on the Rams instead of Matthew Stafford, it probably would have been the same result. Actually, Andrew Luck probably would have. Dog would have friggin' light the league up.
We had him as an overwhelming favorite. I mean, Matthew Stafford is a great player.
Yeah, he isn't trash.
Yeah, he's a great player.
He plays with a lot of heart.
Drew Brees is a one-time All-Pro, right? So I don't think you should hold the All-Pro stuff against him. Playing in an era of legendary quarterbacks, I don't think you should hold it against him. But again, does Matthew Stafford need to do more to even be considered of that? For sure.
Far more.
For sure. I don't think we should throw that around, especially when this is the first major award he's won in the NFL. Now, if you want to count college and high school, maybe you get a case. Right?
Everybody at the NFL, everybody at the top professional league has been dominant in college and high school. That's how they got in the NFL and NBA. These fellas got trophy rooms that stack up to the ceiling. It's just that when they get to that next level, they may not be the GOAT. But almost every single person that touched the NFL and NBA has always been the dominant person in whatever setting they was.
And people don't understand how hard it is to be elite, a legend,
exactly,
a Hall of Fame level player at a professional level. People don't really understand that, because if you put a random, like you said, you put a random NFL player in a game, a random NFL quarterback on a good night, he may give you 250 to 300 yards, 2-3 touchdowns. You put a random NBA player in a game on a good night, he give you 25, right? These dudes are professionals for a reason. They really good at what they do. But the greats do it on a much more consistent basis. They do it every single night, every single time you see them play. They do it, and that's why they are who they are. So take nothing away from Matthew Stafford. He's a very good quarterback, and he was an upgrade over Jared Goff, which is why a lot of people thought they could get it done. But
a much better upgrade.
Yeah, yes. Pump the brakes. He ain't a Hall of Famer. He's a good player. Pretty good quarterback.
This also goes to my point that we had this whole argument, let's say, a couple of weeks ago, with the GOAT situation. You have someone like, if you look back, let's say 3 seasons ago, when the Rams made the Super Bowl the first time, and they gave Goff this big time extension. See, a lot of people go off, like y'all say with Mahomes, potential. And then you have someone like Matthew Stafford, who you would say, oh, this guy isn't great. Oh, this guy isn't X, Y, and Z. But how come this guy could come into your team and do the same thing with basically, honestly, almost the same thing? Because Cooper Kupp was there when Jared Goff was there. Ramsey was there. Aaron Donald was there. The only people who was added was Odell and Miller. And they came mid-season, and that's very hard to do, especially in the NFL, where you have to gel with teams, and Odell had to learn new offense and do all that stuff. So it's like, yes, you do have younger fellas that come in, and they peak very early. They come in, and I hope that don't happen to Joe Burrow, by the way. But you had fellas like Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz almost won an MVP over Tom Brady that year when he was with the Eagles. They had him to win MVP before he get injured. And everybody is go crazy. Oh, these young guys, and the league is in good hands and all that type of crap. And you get these fellas 100 and something million, 200 and something million. Now you 2 years down the road, and Carson Wentz fighting against a backup who must see.
Aaron, the
coach they pick up.
No, but the coach saying they may release him.
Exactly. Yeah. They don't even want to pay him his base salary of what, 15 mil? Like right now, 15 mil is a joke for NFL quarterbacks, and they ain't even want to pay you that. Bro, something going on there. They to keep Philip Rivers. They was ready to keep Philip Rivers longer than them. And then you got Jared Goff going out to Detroit. You put gasoline in already flaming dumpster. Like, why would you like I say, that's why I don't go with the whole potential thing and no road to the GOAT and all that. Because I watched fellas like RG3 come out and almost win Rookie of the Year, and the second next season, He was behind the mic holding. He's holding the mic on the sideline. So like I said, that whole go debate can be running for a very long time because ain't nobody active now even close. Aaron Rodgers probably the closest, and we already established that he ain't even that close. And then everybody after him is like, you're just starting. So I say that to say like a lot of these teams like to talk about go after the young quarterback, this and that. Like what's your boy name? Your boy who you like in Jacksonville. Long hair, don't care. Throw all the interception to the other team, long hair, don't care. And then you got guys like Zach Wilson and stuff. Like my thing is, bro, it's easy when you get an organization and a roster where you could plug a young quarterback in, like a Mark Jones going to the Patriots, and he could still get you to the playoffs in his first year. But don't make it seem like these guys coming in with some exceptional, even with the Bengals. The Bengals don't make it seem like Joe Burrow come there with a scrub team. Like that team legit was 2 pieces of weight. Because Mixon been holding that team down a little while. The only thing that team really needed, well, Mixon and what's your boy name? Uzuma? That tight end was always nice. The only thing they needed was a quarterback and a wide receiver. And that's what they got.
Now they need an offensive line.
No. They need to cut Eli Apple. That's what they need to do.
I mean, in addition to Eli Apple. Wait, has there ever been a player as disrespected as Eli Apple? I have never seen a professional player be that disrespected by his peers. It's one thing to be disrespected by the fans, but players around the league posting memes, trashing you, they retweeting it, next one liking it.
Eli Apple is a trash talker. Like Eli Apple is a trash talker that doesn't win. Think about it. You have guys like Richard Sherman, but they win. You got guys like Draymond. Imagine if Draymond was on the Orlando Magics. You really think if Draymond had the same confidence and the same mode he was playing with on the Orlando Magic, fellas wouldn't be clowning. Look at Patrick Beverly. Fellas has clowned the hell out of Patrick Beverly because he don't win.
They look at you as annoying.
Exactly. So Eli Apple is be out here talking that trash, and every year you getting beat. Every year you see what happened to Ramsey. Ramsey been getting torched all postseason. You know? Fellas is play like, but you don't see fellas getting off on Ramsey. Why? Because Ramsey. See, fellas could talk, they talk when they get their ring, but boy, Ramsey been getting smoke. Ramsey got smoked last game from Mike Evans. Ramsey got smoked this game from, well, maybe not. If you look at it stats wise, you would say, oh, he didn't. But boy, Chase was catching some big catches on him.
He's catching some big catches directly on him. Now he gave him blind for the face mask. Come on.
Yeah, that was bull.
He's catching some.
That was pure.
I gave him blind
for that.
Right, the ref's wrong for that one. But other than that, he's getting hurt.
Someone should have called on, and they do have this New York thing nowadays. Talk about the official review. Someone should have come down from New York and say, "Wait, bro, come on now, this is blatant." The fella looking back for the ball, tracking the ball. You know how hard it is to track a ball in a stadium that's thrown like 40 feet in the air, and your eyes up looking for this ball, searching for this ball. And then someone would just twist your head around.
Looking backwards, you know.
While you backpedaling.
Forwards and looking backwards.
While you twist, and then someone just can twist your head around. And then when you fall and this and that, they can look at you like, oh, that's a clean play. Like, come on, bro. That right there should have been something that could have even been challenged. I would have gone, like, that's something where that should have never even stand. That touchdown should have been called back. But it happened. But even without that, Ramsey's get touched.
What did you think about I asked you this already, but what did you think about the crucial flags that was being called on the stretch?
That was a makeup call.
You think it's a makeup call?
At the end of the day, every single play you could call pass interference. It's a contact sport.
Yeah.
Every single play, literally, I play football. I legit just come from football practice. Every single play you run down the field, a guy will make contact with you. So that type of contact where you break on your route, and yes, he has a hand on you, but he is not affecting your route. And then when the ball is thrown, he ain't like, oh, he knock your hand down, he knock you in the helmet, he do that. The linebacker legit cut underneath and slap the ball down out of the air. So I was like, okay, obviously someone from Washington did call y'all and say, hey, y'all know y'all just gave the Bengals a touchdown, right? So y'all owe the Rams one, and y'all in LA. You see dog them wearing all this crips and stuff on stage, right? If y'all want to make it out there, cheapest y'all throw that flag.
I think Snoop Dogg we had to lose it. Yeah, we had to lose.
Because that's a rough crowd in there, big brother. I don't know how them refs would make it out there, but they'd have to call the SWAT team in, and they'd have to put them in the back of an armored vehicle and get them out of LA. Because they have to make it up.
Yeah, them flags start flying that them last couple possessions, and it get to the point where it's like, but even if Stafford was feeling any pressure in this moment, he can't. At this point, this is basically like a practice run right now. Like you first and goal, right up under the goal line. Like you got to make something happen after that, and
those type of players they bail the referee, because like I say, almost any play you could call. It was a lot of plays they were showing too, where Cooper Kupp was coming off the line and Fellas was legit dragging his jersey, and the referee didn't call it.
And they call it, and that's my biggest problem.
That's straight.
You go through the whole game, and this is someone who picked the Rams to win, by the way. But you go through the whole game, not calling anything, right? You go through the whole game, letting them play, being physical, right? Why wait till the last stretch to now sort of decide the outcome? Not to say that the Rams still wouldn't have won, but I'm just saying, why wait till the last stretch to try to put your imprint on the game? The whole game, he wasn't doing nothing. He was basically being a fan of the game. He wasn't calling nothing. You know what I mean? So you wait till the last stretch now to decide to put your input in there. Nonetheless, like I say, I'm not saying the Rams wouldn't have won that game, because I still think they would have won. But some questionable calls, but nonetheless, still got it done. So we talked about this already, and I just want to get your input again before we move on. We talked about, and you just mentioned, who's to say this isn't a one-hit wonder for Joe Burrow? Now, me personally, I think at some point he will be back. But where do you see the future of the Bengals, especially in a tough AFC?
Football is, to be honest, football is one of the hardest sports to predict. There's so much variables. Coaching styles, draft picks, and injuries obviously play a key role in that. It's weird, because then you have a year where you have a team like the Bengals who could go from literally nothing, like literally just the Bengals, to seeing like, a team that is middle of the pack. Like how the Titans become good all of a sudden. Like Derrick Henry is always good. So you realize that all you needed was a good QB, and then you add Julio Jones them. So it's like, yeah, you could see that team going from good to number one. You see the Bengals gone from over the hill to over PI. Like that's a big jump. So it's like, I could see Burrows getting back there. I don't see him doing it in the near future. Guys gonna know, unless they really do something where they go out and spend some money in free agency. Like I say, if they get that Odell thing going, I don't know if the Rams is gonna re-sign him. If they don't, Odell has two other spots. Either he could wait and see if Tom Brady comes to retirement, which is a possibility, or he could go to Cincinnati and take some pressure off Chase and be their elite number two. If that happens, they'll be a favorite to make the playoffs and have a run at the Super Bowl. But other than that, bro, teams can figure you out. As unstoppable as Mahomes looked 2 years ago, you would never thought that his window was closing very quickly, because he done get, what, 500 million? You know what 500 million means? 500 million means ain't much money to go around to everybody else. So now there could be some key cuts that have to be made. That defense done shabby. So you can't go there and sign no elite safety. You can't go there and sign no elite cornerbacks. So you got to go try build through the draft. And during that time, you see what happened. One little turf toe to Mahomes, game totally change. One little lineman get injured, game totally change. Like football has so much variables. That's why winning the Super Bowl is one of the hardest things to do in sports because basketball, you could have guys injured, you could have guys out, you still win a championship. When the Lakers was the number one seed, and I ain't even talking about this trash they have now. I talking about Showtime Lakers. They lost Kareem, who was the MVP. And Magic still could step in there and say, hey, I'll hook shot you to death. I give you the little baby hook and still win this championship. That's possible in basketball. In football, when you all saw Stafford start hobbling on the field, if that backup they touched the field, pure turbulence was coming. Same thing with Burrow. When Burrow rolled his ankle or rolled his knee or whatever happened to him, and he started one little piece of hobbling, if Burrow had come out of that game for one drive, totally different game. So, like I say, it's hard to see him being back. Definitely not next year, because you can have a Chiefs team bounce back. You can have a Ravens team bouncing back. You can have a Buffalo Bills team bouncing back. It all depends on free agency. You can have the Patriots could get a big wide receiver to go with Mac Jones. You got other teams up and coming. So I glad he got there now because it kind of give him that hunger because you got there but you ain't win. So now you have that hunger to actually get back there and do whatever. But I don't see that happening within, I would say, the next 3 years. I don't see the Bengals getting back there.
Yeah, it could be tough, but like I said, the AFC is very, very tough. Again, for the year that the Bengals had, it was a true Cinderella runway. You look at them on paper, like you said, the talent is there, but it's not like they had an overly dominant team or even an overly dominant offense to where it's like, okay, these dudes unstoppable, right? They got there through great coaching, great strategy, right? And then just a little bit of luck, if we want to be honest, right? But, you know, I said it already earlier, but your quarterback gets out that much times. Usually you don't make it that far if your quarterback is in that much danger. Joe Burrow is a great quarterback, elite quarterback. I still would take, I say an elite, I shouldn't say elite, but he's a great quarterback. I'd still take Mahomes and probably Josh Allen over him in the AFC. And Lamar Jackson. I take all three of them over Joe Burrow still right now. And I think the Bengals, they have a good team, but they got some work to do if they want to continue to be a contender in the AFC.
Speaking of Lamar Jackson, next season Lamar Jackson has the most to prove. Number one, you had a super season already, and ever since then, it's been all downhill. You got to come back. You got to prove yourself, bro. You can't have no one and done season. And then secondly, you got guys like Antonio Brown who talking about they want to come play with you. If they sign Antonio Brown, big man, that's a swing for the fence. Only two things can happen. Either he can make you look good and y'all can do some damage and make it somewhere, or he can make you look like a fool and your contract dreams going out. Notice that Lamar Jackson is one of the quarterbacks who still hasn't signed long-term as yet. So this is his contract year coming up, and this is where your contract goes from $100 million for 5 years to $400 million for 5 years. These are hundreds of millions of dollars you're playing for in the next 12 months. So if Lamar Jackson out there, someplace he need to be out there working on the game, but all you have to do is put in 12 months worth of work right now. Put in another 12 months worth of work, and you don't have to ever work a day after that. You could get cut. You could be like Carson. Why you think Carson Wentz them don't care? And Jared Goff them don't care. Y'all could say all y'all want, but they can get cut and all that stuff. But that bag done secure, bro. Carson Wentz them don't have to work another day in their life And then they could still go someplace and be someone offensive coordinator, someone quarterback coach. They could coach some high school team, some college team. They could go and be someone mentor, or they could go sit in the booth like Tony Romo and play like they know what they're talking about. So it's like, at the end of the day, dog, them don't secure the bag. So Lamar Jackson got to realize that's what you do, bro. Some people that say fake it till you make it. Like I say, everybody ain't gonna be the GOAT. Everybody cannot be the GOAT. Like that's why it's only one GOAT. So if you know, well, listen, I ain't really on that part. Okay, cool. Go out there, light up the skies this year. When you sign that contract, 300, 400, 500 mil. But after that, but you could soundbag all you want. You see Mahomes? Mahomes done win the championship, done win the MVP, and then get 500 mil. If Mahomes never see a Super Bowl another day in his life, you think he already here?
No.
He can be bugged though. He can be bugged.
Yeah,
He's straight. He's straight.
Tell you open up e account.
He can be bugged because obviously, any great quarterback is chasing Tom. So
I believe,
given the fact that that's over with, but
I believe it's especially bugging when you don't win one, and you don't taste that feeling, and then you close, but you can't get back there. I think it's especially bugging, because you probably feel like it's different if you've never been close. Like if you've never been close, then you don't really know how it feels, so you ain't really missing nothing. You know what I mean? It's just what people telling you. You know what I mean? Like why I think Damian Lillard so comfortable losing a ball, and he never been close, right? He ain't never been close, so he ain't feel that way. But he take losing, it's okay. You know what I mean? Until he start with it, then all of a sudden he like, boy, dog, I ain't understand how people get close to losing. You know what I mean? So that's really how it's be. And I think most people feel like that. Every once in a while, you have a few psychos who obsessed with winning. Even if they ain't never get one, they obsessed with it. But most players, they don't know what they're missing. You know what I mean? So, and that'll be interesting to see the future of both those teams. Congrats again to the Rams.
My way too early pick, y'all lose to your little sportsman. The NFC Championship, the NFC champions next year will be the Minnesota Vikings. That one over.
Minnesota Vikings, why? Why you pick
Minnesota? No. You can see the puzzle. You can see the pieces of the puzzle come together. Think about it. Don't let Aaron Rodgers leave. If Aaron Rodgers leave, that division lock. Who's the best team in that division when Aaron Rodgers leaves? It sure ain't the Chicago Bears.
No. That's if Aaron Rodgers leaves.
Who's the next team in that division? We don't even know. What, Detroit Lions?
Detroit. I think Detroit. Yeah, Detroit. Minnesota.
So, Aaron Rodgers leave now and throw a tantrum and say, yeah, he's sliding out. Now that opens the door for Minnesota. You already have an elite running back. You have 2 elite wide receivers and a solid defense. What more you need? You just signed the offensive coordinator from, I think, the Rams. I think they just get that is their coach now. What more you need? You ain't draft yet, and you ain't even signed free agents yet. So right now, my way too early pick, depending on how they go through this off season, I can put one little $10, $15 on the Rams to win the NFC. What that is? NFC North next season.
All right. Okay. You heard it here first.
You know I don't be far off. I picked the Rams. I picked the Rams from August.
You heard it here first. This man say he picking the Vikings to get out the NFC.
And I picked the Nets in basketball for the championship. Oh boy.
You sticking with that pick?
What, the Nets?
Yeah, you look a little shaky now. You sticking with that one?
That's an easy pick. You see any team that could match the Nets? Or even get close?
Right now?
But a good Nets team just got better. That big tree that people were so excited for actually got better.
But they still can't be on the court.
I can't say that.
Why? Why they can't be on the court?
Everything depends on Kyrie. As we switch focus to basketball.
Healthy, everyone playing, the Nets is the best.
I don't even think they need everyone playing.
No, I definitely didn't need everyone playing.
They need Durant and they need Ben Simmons. Even if Kyrie doesn't play in every game, because don't forget now, Ben Simmons is not just what we look at him when he is not your traditional superstar. Ben Simmons is a pass first facilitator, which goes great with that offense that has finally a bunch of shooters. And secondly, Ben Simmons is a top tier defender that you could put on that perimeter, 6'10", by the way, that you could put on that perimeter to guide any point guard, any shooting guard. And when you get up against a guy like Giannis, see, these are the keys that you got to worry about. When you get against a guy like Giannis, you don't have to worry about Durant getting going out on him, or you don't have to worry about putting some weird big guy on Giannis to try slow him down. You actually have a good defender / ball handler who could make it difficult. I ain't saying he's stopping Giannis now, don't get me wrong. But
you don't stopping that man.
He's a good defender. And then also, you got Drummond. People just think Drummond ain't good. There's three things that made Drummond look like garbage. One, he played in Detroit. And even when he's in Detroit, the man was averaging 15 points and 15 rebounds. Two, for the past 2 seasons, you've been playing behind 2 of the most elite big men in the league. One was Anthony Davis. Then you play behind Joel Embiid. Those are 2 centers or 2 big men you're going to play over regardless. I don't care who you is. So at that point in time, it's like, oh, Drummond wash, Drummond this and that. But dog coming off the bench, dog barely playing, and then dog playing in these front courts where it log jam because you playing with a player that's more dominant than you. Now you gone to Brooklyn, where all they asking you to do now is what you was doing in Detroit, but you have a better team. All Drummond coming to Brooklyn to do is rebound and block. Drummond ain't got to come there and score 20 points. Drummond ain't got to come there and score even 15 points. If Drummond could get him 10 points a game off them alley-oops, and he could get him 15 rebounds and about 5 blocks a game, that's a rim protector they never had. Because DeAndre Jordan, that's what you call wash. I mean, I can't even call that wash because to me, DeAndre Jordan was never good.
Just say wash.
That guy was never good. He just used to catch alley-oops, honestly and truly.
So while we're here then, let's actually dissect this trade. So we had a big trade where we didn't discuss because it happened after our last episode.
Nets went by far.
Right. So we had the Brooklyn Nets traded, get the pieces correct, I think it was Harden for Ben. It's Harden and Millsap for Ben, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond. Those are the main players in that trade. Now, Xperts, you said Nets.
And 2 first-round picks.
2 first-round picks.
Kind of 2 first-round picks? Wow.
2 first-round picks.
Jeez.
So, I said, I know Xperts to say you and the Nets won that trade. I agree the Nets probably got the better part of the trade.
By far.
I don't think the Philly necessarily lost, because if they get the Houston version of Harden, which I'm not sure Harden is anymore, if they get the Houston version of Harden, then that's a good version to get. But the Houston version of Harden has not shown up in the playoffs either, even though that's a better player than this current version. So Philly, I don't think Philly lost the trade. And it's weird because I think me and G was talking about this earlier. I think if they got all three of Harden, Kyrie, and KD on the court, they would have won the championship anyway.
Exactly.
Right? If all 3 of them was playing, they would have won it anyway, right? But for the purpose of this trade, they don't lose the trade. Like they in fact, the team fits a lot better than me now without Harden. when you talk about Ben Simmons, a guy who is best when he's getting the paint and spraying it out to shooters. All he got is shooters now. He got KD, he got Seth, he got Kyrie, he got Joe Harris coming off injury. All I do got is shooters, right? So you ain't asking him to do nothing. He could literally play with 4 other shooters. You ain't asking him to score. You ain't asking him to have no post moves. You just asking him to facilitate, defend, finish at the rim. That's legit the easiest he'll ever enjoy playing. But I would see in that Kyrie got to be on the floor for them to come out the East. Because I think Ben and KD is good, but I don't know if that's enough top end talent, especially when you talk about playing against Milwaukee. You still got to give it to Giannis.
First of all, they almost killed Giannis. Almost got beat last year without Kyrie, and it was just a toe step away. Giannis and like I said, guys, is up their window. To be honest with you, Giannis done reach his pinnacle.
Giannis reached his peak. You think so?
He ain't getting much better than that. I can be real with you.
Do you think he reaches peak in terms of championships?
He's still young. He might scrap another one out, but this ain't no dynasty they building in Milwaukee, bro. Trust me. They ain't even gonna make it back to the finals. And the problem with Milwaukee too is you one dependent. If Giannis roll one little piece of ankle now, you can't even get up the first round. Because who can carry you? Who's your second player? Middleton? Jesus Lord. Anyway, the reason why I say Brooklyn win this by far is because you got James Harden already on a deal because he was fighting his way out of Houston. Already you get him on a deal. Then you in turn flip that one guy who done was in gelling and they was losing a bunch of games with James Harden. He ain't like, the Nets was the top seed in the East. The Nets was like must see 500 or around there someplace. There's like 7 league seed. And then you flip this guy to Philadelphia for a point guard, a very rare type point guard, an elite shooter who has one of the best 3-point shooting percentage for the season, an elite big man defensively, elite defensive big man, and 2 first-round picks, not 1, 2 first-round picks for a guy who wasn't going to resign anyway and who didn't want to pick up his option and didn't want to stay there anyway. For a guy who was leaving anyway, probably in the summer, you got a 5, well 3 now, but basically 5 good pieces to build your team for now and the future, to go along with 2 max superstars you already had, bro. That's crazy. Whereas now, when Harden goes to Philadelphia, number 1, who can be 1 and 1A? Because Joel Embiid might be the best player on the team all around because he's played D and Harden don't. But who the ball got to come out? Who the ball going to do first? That ball got to reach you, bro. This ain't don't think Harden can come down there and friggin' throw no ball down in the paint.
But I want to add something too. Not just a rare point guard, what you described him as, but you got the best defense, probably the second best because Drew Holiday is nice, but top 2 defensive point guard in the league, right? And you get a man who's willing to move the ball. Harden wasn't willing to do that. Harden want to play ISO ball.
Exactly.
So you have a guy that fits your system better than, the superstar you just let go. So I think even if it was just Ben Simmons, it would have been.
Exactly. Because my thing is, when you deal with Harden might be the better offensive player. But when you look at even scheme, see, I always tell people, you could be a good player, even in football, even in sports on the whole. You could be a better player. That don't mean you're a better fit.
Right.
So when it comes to games or plays, like when Harden go down to Philadelphia, Harden has never played with a real pick and pop or pick and offensive center. Harden is make guys like Capella look good. How? Throw the ball in the air. How much time we see Joel Embiid catch lobs?
Exactly.
Joel Embiid to set a pick and then sit on the 3 point line because he
But
want to catch the ball
he's
and he
not.
loves to do a little stupid head fake
See?
or he
Right.
throws up the rock.
Harden does good with serviceable bigs. Bigs who,
Exactly.
could roll to the rim.
This could be an adjustment for sure.
So Daddy and Joel. Joel won the ball. Joel ain't the type of guy to say,
Exactly.
hey, you do the work, get me an easy bucket. Daddy and him. He won't do the work. And rightfully
Exactly.
so. He's one of the most dominant players in the game.
Yeah, dog just dropped 50 points like that today.
Yeah, I think I could take an adjustment on both of their parts. I think Joel got to be more willing, like you said, to roll to the rim on some possessions, right? Not all. Obviously, he's the main guy on that team. But even just to make his life a little bit easier, just take a little dump downs, run a little pick and rolls or whatever, get yourself going a little easier. And then Harden, he can't ISO as much, right? He can't ISO as much. He can't do his thing as much because this clearly Joel team. So it could be an adjustment for them for sure.
And that's the thing. For that to happen, that would take Harden to mature. And throughout the years, we've seen that he's unwilling to mature. Whenever there's a situation where it's not going his way, he can find a situation to go to. He didn't want to mature and move the ball with Chris Paul. He didn't want to mature and share the ball with Westbrook. He didn't want to mature and share the ball with Dwight Howard in Houston. Remember when he ran Dwight to Houston?
Exactly.
I mean, every time.
And this is the same GM that allows that.
Exactly. Because Harden is the man. When on Maury's team, Harden is the man. And that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, Embiid can find out real soon that this ain't going to be a trade that he can like. Because at the end of the day, what they can end up doing is they probably can keep Harden. And if anything go wrong between them two, they can get rid of Joel before they get rid of Harden. And
especially if they get D'Antoni there. If they get that.
Oh, that's it. That's a movie. That wrap.
That's the family.
So
you only get the family.
So who your pick is to come out the East? The X-Factor already said the Nets. Who you got, G, to come out the East?
The Nets is clearly the most talented team, but bro, that whole Kyrie thing, the inconsistency of Kyrie's availability is just too much to me. If I have to choose, honestly, I'd say Milwaukee again.
This tough for me because, for me, I don't think it's gonna be in Nets, and the reason why I don't think it's gonna be in Nets, not only because of the Kyrie situation, but because actually them being in 8 really helps because they get to play more road games.
Yes.
In the playoffs, so they got Kyrie for more games. So, but them being in 8 ain't really a factor. I think the biggest thing is Ben Simmons ain't played ball in like almost a year, right? Like you got a dude like Jordan, who he came back mid-season from not playing basketball, and he wasn't even his full self, right? So it's take a lot to ramp up to get to especially playoff speed basketball. Like I don't think Ben Simmons is going to be his full. It's going to play this full potential yet.
But what are we talking about? That we ain't talking about post-up fadeaways. We ain't talking about no skillful, beautiful Kobe type basketball. We talking playmaking and defense.
Okay, and I agree with you. But now it becomes a little bit more difficult, especially on offense, because if Kyrie is missing, right? And Harden wasn't really giving them much this year, so they had to trade him. But if Kyrie is missing, that becomes now a little bit more difficult for KD to manufacture consistent offense to beat some of the better teams in the NBA. Yeah. And they still don't have, I mean, Drummond is size. I'll give you, Drummond is size. So they have a little bit more size now. But the offense, which I thought, again, KD, Kyrie, and James Harden would have been enough to win a championship. Mm-hmm. With you getting the worst offensive player in Ben Simmons, even though he's a better fit. You getting Kyrie, still compromise, whatever. Now the offense ain't really as dominant as it once was. So the margin for error a little bit smaller. You know what I mean? So I feel as if I don't think it'll be a Nets. If I had to pick right now, honestly, and I don't think I can't ever see me picking a James Harden-led team to make it to the championship. So I'd probably pick Miami if I had to pick.
They don't expect anybody. But this is the reason why it's so easy, because you can't even give me a real legit contender to the Nets. Everything is if this, if that, if the next. At the end of the day, the reason why the Nets could easily get out of the East, number one, with the Kyrie situation, it's not as far fetched as it was probably a year ago or maybe even at the beginning of the season. If you look at, I don't just watch sports, but I follow international news. If you look at restrictions, even New York just, I think when starting next week, New York is now going to go and take out all the mask mandate for indoor restaurants and dining and all that stuff. So if you done telling people, oh, I ain't got to wear a mask no more, you really think this whole vaccine thing is going to hold up much longer? So probably another, let's say 6 weeks, that they might say, hey, if you ain't vaccinated, you could play ball in New York gyms again or whatever.
You're right.
Kyrie done in full form. Secondly, this isn't a matchup that Kyrie isn't used to. People forget that not because Kyrie plays for Team USA means he's American. Kyrie is actually a born Australian.
He was born in Australia, yeah.
Ben Simmons is actually a born Australian.
Yeah.
These guys actually played together.
Patty Mills.
In Australia.
Yeah,
When they was good. So they are actually already linked to each other before that. So like I say, it's more behind the scenes. I go in depth with all these things. And it's more actually behind the scenes that people don't see and people don't know. That's going to help this Nets team to gel much better.
Kyrie was born in Australia, but I don't think he was playing for the Australian team.
No, he wasn't playing for the Australian national team. But Kyrie, when he was in high school and college, used to go back to Australia and play in their summer league type thing. Oh. And he actually was there when Ben Simmons used to go to the camp and stuff before he came over to the States.
Oh, okay.
So they already had that connection.
Okay.
And then on top of that, like you say, the Nets has far more veteran presence. I saw something the other day say the Nets could put a starting five together that has the highest draft pick. Like, cause they have literally everybody could be in the starting five as either number one or number two pick.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like literally everybody. Therefore, they have like 5-6 players on the team who were number one or number two picks.
But like I say, Ben Simmons is such a his play style is so unique, right? That you kind of always wonder where does he fit. But I think with this team,
it fits perfectly.
Initially we were saying, bro, how that even work? Because all on one score, right? Which never became a problem. But it's even better now. Because this means more shots for KD and more shots.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you have a guy who don't want to score. He just looking to get
exactly. And not just
Kyrie first got to get up. I that's what I originally said. I when they went after Harden, I was like, I don't really like the Harden fit. But like I say, it did work on the court. I would admit it did work on the court. But I always said that I felt as if they needed a guy who just thinks defense first and who can just facilitate. I didn't know who that guy was going to be. I didn't thought it was going to be Ben Simmons, but I thought they just needed a guy who could just be the glue to pull that team together. And Ben Simmons, he has definitely the ability to do it. Now leadership-wise, I don't know if he could be the leader.
But if
Danny need a job though. He ain't come there to be the leader.
No, but who's the leader on that team?
Defensively,
Kevin Durant.
But defensively, if Ben Simmons could take on that
role, Kevin Durant is the best player on the team. Is he the leader? Is he
I don't know how much of a leader Kevin Durant is for true, to be honest. He's the best
player. On that team, yes. Durant has a much improved as a leader on the team. And we have realized that now if you look at it, it wasn't Durant's fault. If you look at who Durant played with when it was Westbrook, we've done seeing it really wasn't Durant's fault.
That's where you go.
Secondly, when Durant went to Golden State, Durant helped them win championships. The reason why Durant left was mostly Draymond Green. It still wasn't Durant's fault.
No, but this is the point. When Durant was on Golden State, he didn't have to be a leader. He had leadership already in place. All he had to do was just come in and play his game.
Who was the leader?
Right?
Draymond.
I know
you
you're
could
supposed to say that, Tom. Wait, don't
Draymond
stop
is
it.
the leader of the Warriors. That's why
Draymond, okay, Draymond was the vocal leader, but
Yeah,
he
talking
also
about
was
the
Steph was the leader of that team. The culture followed Steph, right? The culture followed Steph. The culture followed Draymond was the vocal leader, and then obviously Steve Kerr as well. Like the whole organizational impact, they had an organizational structure already in place.
I understand. What's the vocal leader? Like Drake is the leader of that team. Drake is the spirit of that team.
Vocal leader, he's the one who made the most noise. But anyway, I'm saying there was no pressure on Durant to come in and say, let's lead the charge, right? He came into already established culture and organization. It's almost like going to the Spurs when Duncan and Tony Parker was there. You ain't got to come in and be a rah-rah, do a day.
See,
we got to do this, we got to do that. We only asking you to score. That's all we asking you to do.
Now that you mentioned that, that's kind of what Brooklyn is lacking. Brooklyn doesn't have culture.
Exactly.
Doesn't have identity because pieces keep going in and out. They don't know who they are right now.
No, and that's the next reason why I say I won't pick.
That's why you're saying you wouldn't pick them. And to be honest, if Ben Simmons could come here and establish himself as a defensive leader, like similar to what Draymond is for the Warriors, this team could take it to the next level. No one could see them.
They could. I think honestly, if we talk about leadership, I think to me the leader probably is Kyrie. I think Kyrie is probably the most.
Oh boy.
It's the person people willing to rally behind. Not to say Kevin Durant isn't the best player. Kevin Durant is clearly the best player in that team, but again, the culture thing, like we said, is lacking in Brooklyn. Look at the stuff that they've been through this season.
Yeah.
Right. Alone. Right. And I think you could see the cracks. You could see the cracks in the culture, and that could play a part come playoff time. I just don't think organizationally they stable enough, and I think the talent took a hit. Although I think Ben Simmons is a better fit, so I probably would pick them to win it, maybe next year. But I think this year, I think they have an uphill battle to climb this year. I wouldn't say similar to the Lakers, but they better than the Lakers.
Obviously, but they have to win. They have to win now. Like they have to win now. They like the Rams. Like you can wait till next season. You don't know how next season go. Durant plays and keeps up with these guys as one of the top players in the league. But at the same time, Durant is what, 33? Heading on 34?
32, 34.
Already who already had Achilles injuries. And then you already a 7
Injured now, too, right? Injured now.
Yeah. We know how 7 footers go, and it's fragile frame.
But
I know
what season is this?
frame.
It's just third season with them together, right?
Second.
First season Durant.
Third season him. Second season him playing. Third season they established.
Only Kyrie was
there. Exactly. So that first season I'm gone.
Yeah. So this is his second season playing with them. And obviously, the Harden experiment, like I say, they didn't work out. To me, they went after the wrong dude any which way. You're going after a dude who have a flaky character in any event. But that's what I mean. Listen, people gotta understand.
Philly was always his first choice when he was trying to go to Houston.
Yeah, garbage. He talking that talk now. Philly was a choice, but he wanted to go to Brooklyn. My thing is this. That's why I try to tell people: super teams. Everybody's saying. Super teams is the easiest way to win a championship. But if you don't have the structure in place, if everybody ain't on the same page, bro, that could blow up quick in your face. That could really blow up quick. And I think people just think stock talent together and they can figure itself out. And again, I still said that talent, if all three of them was on the floor, they probably would have figured it out. But that's the point. Like egos get involved.
Yeah.
Different scenarios has happened where the people who sacrificed to get here, now they ain't want to sacrifice no more, right? It ain't about winning a championship no more. Now it's about winning a championship your way, right? And that's why sometimes these situations just don't last. Nothing has last forever. So I always say you gotta play the game on the floor. You can't just count the stars on your finger. But we'll see what happens. Let's see what happens with the East. The East is definitely competitive this year.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
got at least 4 or 5 teams that could win it, that could come out the East, in my opinion. At least 4 or 5.
Oh boy. Well, like I say, the Brooklyn Nets was already the favorites, and they got even better. Not just offensively, or obviously, it might seem like okay, you give up a scorer, but like we said, system wise and offensive wise, I feel like they got offensively better. And then definitely by far defensively, you didn't
By
only
far.
get you didn't get a perimeter defender. You also get a top post defender. So you just show up the top of your offense and the bottom of your I mean the top of your defense up top, and you show up the paint. Because now instead of throwing Blake Griffin out there, who dragging himself up and down the court,
He
you
needs to
actually
start.
got a legit big man
He needs to
who
stand.
rebounds, who blocks shot, who disrupts shots, and
Ironically,
box out.
ironically, Drummond and Blake was together in Detroit.
Yeah, they will say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I say,
and
this
They
team
had a
puts
nice
a
little
lot of
thing going.
puzzle pieces of puzzles together.
Little thing going before Blake get washed.
uh, and that happened so fast. He was
Happen
nice.
quickly.
He was
Happen
nice
quick.
in Detroit.
Yeah, let it decline could happen very, very quick. So yeah, that's what we feel will come out the East. What y'all think about who will come out the West? Everybody says it's a 2-team race out West, with Phoenix and Golden State. You got Memphis creeping up. They making some noise.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-team race, and I think when you look at it, only those 2 teams have the kind of culture it takes to win a championship. I think Memphis is a sneaky team. Obviously they may upset someone, but championship. Even if let's say Memphis upset the Warriors or Memphis upset Phoenix, I just think the other team is just gonna beat them. So I think that's how it's gonna be. Maybe Phoenix don't even see the Warriors in the playoffs because one of those 2 teams get upset. But I think one of those 2 teams coming out to it.
Yeah, I think I was wary of the upset factor because I still see the Lakers lurking down in that playing spot, and I said the Lakers have definitely the firepower to upset anybody in the West, to be honest. But I mean, when I look at the Lakers, but I certain that probably ain't gonna happen. There's them niggas there.
They in the firepower, but like you say, the culture.
They just can't put it together. I don't understand.
Man. No.
I don't understand it.
Don't change the energy. This is the guy who makes players better. This is the leader. This is the no. This is the guy. Who?
You was what? But listen to me. The first thing started before season start, bro. Westbrook lost after the trade deadline. Y'all didn't do no.
No.
Be good.
Don't try and defend Sans. Sans said that Westbrook would not be on the team at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
That's better than you said it's during the finals, right?
And you believe in this team.
You believe in this team. Let's get the main point across. You believe in this team. I clearly did not.
The finals pass, yeah.
I clearly did not believe in this team. You had full belief in them. I clearly it wasn't gonna work.
I remember the finals passing already.
They loving this moment in Laker history because they could just jump ship on either side of the fence. You see, they can believe in the team, and when they go bad, they can hate on LeBron. It's a win-win for them.
I clearly didn't believe it from the start, and I even said right after preseason, I said Lakers wouldn't make the finals, and I said I wouldn't even be that surprised if they don't make the playoffs. I said this after preseason. Preseason, I said that, right? And I just looked like crazy on this very podcast. Preseason, that don't really look crazy now. Now I still think they probably made the playoffs because of the playing game.
No man, don't change the talk. Change the talk.
See, like I say, a few days ago, I say, boy, dog, Lakers still have a lot of talent they could put together, but boy,
they honestly, they get figured. I watched I know I said this before when they played. They had one big game. I think that was
Wars.
Stanley Johnson first game, and they looked so great defensively. And then I don't know whatever happened since then. But yeah, they trying this new thing now where they having on three of the stars, including Westbrook, uh, trying to play through them in the post. So they're trying to have Westbrook post up, LeBron post up more, and AD post up, and just trying to run plays through that. And it did look kind of okay last game against the Warriors, even though they lose. But I saw that these these 1 game samples, where they look good 1 game and they look bad the next 8 to 9 games.
But my thing is the
Just have more
problems.
habits, like,
Yeah, the problems with them so much bigger than Westbrook. Like Westbrook is a big problem, obviously.
Where's the leadership though?
Um, well, I mean, look like he ain't not, right? Because that boy partying at the LA Rams game. His
uh,
team get passed
he
right
was
down. He's
beating
like,
the only one there.
Like I said with the Draymond situation, it's easy to be a leader when you win it. It's easy to be vocal when you win it. You know when leaders are made? This is when leaders are made. This is when you're supposed to say, hey, I can put this team on my back. I don't care about no 36, 37. I don't want no cry. I don't want no dry cry. We just watch a 45-year-old or 43-year-old win a Super Bowl. Why we gotta hear a 38, a 37-year-old cry about, oh, I'm 37. But then when you hit one little layup over 1 6'2" fella, you flexing and you stomping the ground and beating your chest and you can on, you ready to throw Baki at half court because you score over friggin' Nate Robinson in the paint. So it's like, bro, come on now.
That's one thing I can understand. A team with 4 or 5 games under 500 celebrating after every single score, boy.
Hey, I don't blame Malik Monk, right? I don't blame Malik Monk. He ain't experienced nothing in the league. He ain't accomplished nothing, so I blame him for celebrating. Yeah, I mean, celebrate every chance he gets, bro. I blame him, right?
He just reached.
Yeah, I don't blame him. No, he ain't. He's not an all-star. He's trying to make his name in the league. Celebrate, Stanley Johnson. Celebrate. See what I'm saying? I blame them 2 niggas. They trying to make a name for themselves. LeBron should be useless right now, right?
But that's embarrassing.
Big old veteran. Westbrook, you scream it after you flipping. Hit a layup after you missed the last 6 shots on the backboard. You scream because you hit one layup.
And looking at the person,
and looking at the person, like, wait, what you do? Dwight Howard.
Let Westbrook down 40 talking about W. W for what, bro? What I W? Obviously, single coverage wicked. What I W for?
And at some point, it is looked like they think they winning. You know what I mean? Like even if they win the game, just the way the benches carry on and the way the plays, it just look like they have the best record in the league. Like how they be celebrating.
On a leadership point, though, for real, on a leadership point, the Lakers are lacking some serious leadership this year. You could tell they're on the same page. Even down to when they saw Westbrook, pardon AD and LeBron, they had saying, I wish I was in the game to help you all or whatever the case may be. You could see LeBron and AD like look at the side like, what this nigga talking about? Like you could tell they on the same page at all, right? And you could be a leader,
funny.
But if you ain't no one to follow you, then who you leading at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Question. On one hand, you see Westbrook basically blaming Vogel. On the other hand, you see LeBron and AD like basically like, bro, Vogel straight. Yeah, like, really the problem.
You ever had that dude who's asking you to put him on your team because you had next and you when y'all lose, he come people up. I wish I could help y'all, but I get picked.
Question. Talking about leadership and someone that made it. LeBron is in what 17, 18, whatever. 19, no one cares. Yeah. My point is, how much guys, after this amount of time, he likes to brag about he's been in the league from 03 and still here and blah, blah, blah. I see him post all type of garbage on social media. How much guys do you know, even LeBron fans, how much guys do you know in the NBA or even personally pattern their game after LeBron. How much NBA players is going there and say, boy, I won't be like LeBron. I won't play
A lot.
ball like LeBron.
Yes, by a lot.
No. I'm talking about be successful at it.
Only him once really successful at it in terms of winning a championship.
Like you could see guys like Jason Tatum. I don't about win a championship. I talking about actually being dominant. Like you see guys like Jason Tatum who wants to be like Kobe. You see guys like Devin Booker who wants to be like Kobe. Like Kobe mentality and Jordan mentality and Dr. J mentality and Magic Johnson mentality and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar mentality, Shaq mentality. Like you see certain players can say, okay, I came up watching Shaq. I wanted to be the most dominant. I came up watching Larry Bird. I wanted to be like Larry. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. And even now, even LeBron fans is telling you about Kobe, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, LeBron is my best player, but Kobe, I ain't gonna lie, that was a problem.
Yeah.
I don't see much fellas come out and be like, bro, I come here to be a pass for his 6'10", blah, 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 except for probably Ben Simmons. But
I'd say Ben Simmons. You mentioned Ben Simmons.
that ain't really waking out for him.
I'd say
You know who said it?
I'd say Luka.
Yeah, Luka did say it too. But
say-
recently,
Yeah.
I read a article that Halliburton wrote. Like when they kicked him out, Sacramento, and he said it.
Yeah.
He said he grew up watching LeBron, and he wanted to be like LeBron.
Yeah,
And he is an amazing playmaker for real.
but I definitely think I'd say
You see where
Luka.
that kid.
Luka and Ben Simmons. I'd say there's the two who I think I can't really say Giannis. Giannis, he grew up watching all type of players, so I can't really say Giannis.
Giannis is
well, what I-
even if he grew up watching LeBron, he wouldn't say it.
Yeah, but what I would say is this. I mean, Giannis like lotion every once in a while now, so he good for
Giannis would
lotion.
say it.
He good for lotioning. But that's what I would say, right? About the whole I like where this era of the NBA is going, right? I like where this is going. And I think Coward, Colin Coward, he mentioned something similar, and that the most successful teams right now in the NBA is the teams who letting everybody do their job. The owners owning, the GMs doing the GM stuff, the players playing, and the coaches coaching. I feel as if, me personally, with the player empowerment era that LeBron has introduced, that has led people to believe that that's the best way to go about winning a championship, right? And I like how it's sort of blown up in his face right now, right? Because everybody got a job to play, right? Use the player, right? So don't come here trying to be the GM, trying to recruit this one, trying to be the coach. Hey, you should play me at this one. You know what I mean? I think. Go ahead.
That's what happens when they put it in your head that you have to pass Jordan. That's what happens. So he's obsessed with controlling his own destiny, and that's what happened. Jordan didn't have that. Jordan didn't have that pressure to say, "But you have to be better than Dr. J," or and not saying that it's not his fault, but it is his fault because he wasn't mature enough to realize that you can have a successful career doing that.
Yeah, he's not even mature enough to realize that.
Like things ain't always your way.
But even with Jordan, right? Like you said, that's a good point you mentioned. LeBron tries to control the narrative. You go back and watch Jordan old interviews, watch Jordan old tapes, right? Jordan said, I always want to be better than Magic, Larry Bird. I always wanted to be better than them two, right? Jordan said, they got 3 championships, I got to pass that, right? So with Jordan's quest to being a GOAT, and Kobe is the same way. It was always, I have to win, right? I have to win championships. If I don't win championships, I cannot be considered one of the greatest players. I cannot be considered the best player in the NBA. Until I win these rings, no one is going to consider me the best player. And everything centered around him trying to win, right? Back then, it was no, okay, I mean, not to say that them dudes didn't want to play with certain players, but it was no, okay, let's leave or, it was mostly, for the most part, Phil Jackson come in, install a triangle, boom, boom, boom. Okay, Jordan say, I got to play under this if I want to win. This is why I got to play under. Phil convinced him that was the best way to win. He said, "This way I got to play under the win."
but that had some luck in it too, though. Because I mean, okay, what if it wasn't Phil Jackson? What if it wasn't Phil Jackson? What if it was D'Antoni? I mean, it was
these guys.
What if Jordan didn't get Phil Jackson? What if Jordan got another coach who didn't implement the triangle, who implemented ISO ball, or I'm just
I think
saying.
it was a good enough coach, they'd have win.
You think so?
It was a good enough coach. They might not win 6, but they'd have win. It was a good enough coach. See, the key is, like I say, is this. I like the era where I say the NBA is going to, because it's no system that's perfect. You still need stars, right? Golden State runs a motion offense, right? San Antonio in their heyday ran a different type of offense. Okay. Phil Jackson ran the triangle with Phil Jackson ran the triangle with Kobe and Shaq. Phoenix, they ran the spread pick and roll offense, or whatever the case may be. Offense is there just to put some structure in place. But the main thing is you have to have players who are willing to buy in. That's what makes a successful team. Players that are willing to buy in to whatever the system is, whatever the offense is. That's why teams are successful. And I feel like LeBron, people always used to say this to me, LeBron fans. LeBron didn't have the advantage of being coached under Phil Jackson. Imagine how much rings he'd have with Phil Jackson. Imagine how much rings he'd have with Popovich. And I always respond to them, what makes you think after watching LeBron that he would want to be coached by them dudes? Because LeBron does not seem like a player who is going to be easily coached. So what makes you think that them dudes will have an easy time coaching him? I don't see it. You know what I mean? So not to say he's not a great player, nothing like that. But like I say, I'm glad it's starting to trend back towards players understanding their role in terms of the hierarchy. Not to say that you don't control your destiny in terms of free agency and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of winning a championship, everybody have a part to play.
But not even just players too. I think when Colin talked about that, he's talking about the entire organization. Because remember, there was this era where the coaches was the GMs, what they used to call it, in charge of player operations or something like that.
Doc Rivers,
Doc Rivers, exactly. I think Doc Rivers started.
He sent the Clippers, running Clippers into the ground.
Right. Stan Van Gundy had that in Detroit, and a couple other coaches had that. Like, that was the way it was going.
Yeah,
but they never win no championship either. So, like you say, just having everybody know their role, and the best teams, not even as now, but if you look at the dynasties, the best teams over the years, I think the only team that was successful over the years that did that was Pop. I think Pop have some GM powers. But yeah, I just think LeBron actually tried too much to control his own destiny. So much so, like, okay, you leave Cleveland, cool. You go to Miami, cool. Then you want to leave Miami. I don't know why you leave Miami. Going back to Cleveland, okay, cool. Then you want to leave Cleveland again. Like, come on, bro. You're trying to control your destiny way too much. Just let it ride, bro. And
I mean, I don't have a problem with him controlling his destiny. I have a problem with him controlling the destiny. Like, don't say, okay, I leave in for better. Then when you get to better, you try to destroy the whole thing to bring what you had before. Like, that don't make sense. Like, if you say, okay, I live in Cleveland to come, or the first time he's saying I live in Miami to go back to Cleveland. Then you get to Cleveland, you want to destroy the team. You want to bring in Kevin Love. You beg Kevin Love to come. You beg them to trade the young players out X, Y, and Z.
Who was it? Wiggins?
Yeah, Wiggins and all that stuff. You get your head marching, and you scrap one out barely. Thank God.
Hold on, stop it. Davis injured this big. All right, continue. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, you scrap one out barely in a game seven win where Kyrie had to hit a tough shot over Steph in the last seconds. And then you come on the microphone screaming like you ain't just hide in the corner the whole fourth quarter. But everything cool. Then you can go to a Lakers team where you have basically a total opposite, because you had one of the oldest team in the league in Cleveland at that time. You left Cleveland, came to one of the youngest teams in the league, and in the span of 2.5 seasons, you turned that team into the oldest team in the league. You trade out everybody underneath the age of 25, and you gonna get everybody over the age of 25. Like, really? Like, you destroy all the young players you had. You had Lonzo Ball, you had Brandon Ingram, you had Kyle Kuzma, you had all these fellas there. You ship them out. You get Anthony Davis, who you wanted, which is okay. That worked in the bubble and all that stuff, but he can't stay on the court now. And then you go on and get Westbrook and mortgage the whole future of the Los Angeles Lakers franchise for no reason.
I mean, if he just didn't make this mistake this season, it might have worked out.
It could have worked out if they chose to go after different pieces instead of Westbrook by getting more shooters and LeBron. I don't know why for someone who's so, and that's why I don't like LeBron fans. They don't be realistic. For someone who's a playmaker and someone who so likes the ball in his hand, why do you run from point guard so much? Is it the pressure that the point guard has to take when it comes to wins and losses? Or is it the pressure of the fourth quarter where you have to legit make plays when it counts and not making these wild stat pattern plays that people don't like to talk about? When you're all up 20 points, 25 points and stuff, you dancing and cheering. But is it the pressure? Because I'd be like, wait, why doesn't LeBron, when he actually had to do it in the bubble, it was very successful. So my thing is, why, if you just won a championship being a point guard, why do you want to go back to being a small forward and then go and get one of the most ball-dominant point guards of all time?
I think that was mainly a power play. I think he's trying to match with Brooklyn. For what reason, I don't know. Because you say a balanced team could have taken down that big tree. So I think maybe he's trying to match up with them. But again, this goes back to just LeBron, just like G said, trying to control his narrative, trying to say, okay, you know what, we could do whatever, everything in our power to win a championship. And if we could get another star, I want to play with as much stars as possible. Amon is basically going on record to say that, right? That he'd love to play with as much stars as possible. And it's funny because even with you see an issue now with a lot of teams now or executives coming forward now and saying the Lakers had trade offers. But it looked like Rob Pelinka put his foot down and was like, listen, we ain't taking no more bad contracts. We ain't taking no more bad salary. I don't care if that's what it takes. We didn't take ourselves in this hole. I ain't about to make no dumb trade just because LeBron looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, I think
that's an interesting dynamic.
I think Rob feels okay with it not being his fault, like I said to you before. I mean, if it was his decision to get Westbrook, he would have been trying to fix it.
For sure.
But because it wasn't him, and he's safe in terms of this not being his mess up, he's like, no, we ain't doing all that to fix this.
Yeah, he said, but we ain't doing all. We ain't gonna control that. We ain't gonna control that. This is what y'all wanted. Y'all make it work, right? This is what y'all wanted. Don't.
Yeah, but at the same time, he can also cause his own job because at the end of the day, I always tell people, Rob Pelinka was never a GM. Rob Pelinka doesn't even have GM experience. The reason Rob Pelinka got that job is because of Kobe Bryant. He was Kobe's agent, basically almost his whole career. That was like a tribute, basically. Rob Pelinka, whatever. At the end of the day, being an agent, you are a player's pleaser. So someone like LeBron would take advantage of that, knowing that, hey, this guy is a lifelong agent. And his job as an agent is to please the player. So if I is the big player and I is the star player that you persuaded to come to LA, every time I come to you, I can say, hey, I can throw that line out there. Before I even talk and say what I want, I can say, hey, buddy, how you doing? I mean, you bring me here, right? So since I'm here, one of my boys want to talk to you, X, Y, and Z. So it's like, Pelinka was always that type of guy. Secondly, this is LA. LA is not just a fan base. LA is not just a team. LA is not just an organization. The Los Angeles Lakers legit a culture. Why you think even when the Clippers was winning, they was mad because no one was giving them their respect as long as you play in Staples Center. That's why they trying to build this big mega thing down some other side of LA where no one cares. The middle side, the downtown side of LA and the whole West Coast and Snoop and all these fellas is Los Angeles Lakers. So the thing is, when you struggling like this, you forget when Snoop Dogg called out LeBron too. Like Snoop Dogg is calling him out, Ice Cube is calling him out.
Hey, Snoop Dogg is figuring crazy on
Magic is come out of the people like Kareem who rarely is talk. Kareem them don't say nothing hardly ever.
Kareem hate LeBron, by the way.
I don't blame him.
He hate LeBron.
James Worthy, like you got fellas them coming out of the woodworks who haven't talked about basketball in years. Come out and say, hey, hold on now. Like it's one thing when the Lakers was losing with Javaris Crittenton and Smush Parker and Jordan Clarkson and stuff like that. That's okay. We can accept that because we know that, hey, the talent isn't on the floor. But it's a difference of where you come here and you saying you better than all us. But we didn't look like this when we was on the floor. You say you was the king. You say you was the GOAT. But when we was in the same uniform, even when Kareem was heading for 40, the Lakers wasn't losing. So it's like, bro, let's calm down on all the off the court theatrics and let's try focus on getting some wins. If LeBron them could even consistently make the second round or the conference finals every year, nobody would be on his case in him. Because obviously he's a glorified loser anyway. He's made the finals every year and still lose, and everybody's be like, oh, okay, well, like y'all will say, oh, he made it there. That's cool. But when you come in here and the first year you miss the playoffs, they give you that blind. You go on in the bubble and you get lucky. We'll take it, but you get lucky by winning the championship based on your scheduling and stuff like that. And then you will come back the third year and potentially miss the playoffs again. No, big brother. No.
I find it interesting, right? Because I like how you mentioned that, and this I want to talk about this before you wrap up, right? Because I sure you all saw the headlines that day when LeBron said that he feels that Los Angeles should have a championship parade for all the Los Angeles teams, right? Considering that the Lakers didn't have a parade when they won a championship, the Dodgers didn't have that parade, and now the Rams went. So now he's saying, okay, we should have a championship. We should have a parade for all the LA teams one time.
The Lakers
right?
did have a parade.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. They should have a championship parade for all the LA teams.
I didn't realize when the Dodgers win, they didn't have a parade.
Yeah. Well, first of all these teams did have parades. They may not have had the parades of the past where the whole city got shut down because basically, obviously, COVID. But all these teams had parades because we even last year in Tampa Bay, you see Brady them had big friggin' motorcade out on the lake. Lakers had big parade when they touched back LA after the bubble, and the Dodgers Dodgers had a super parade downtown when they was motorcading through the city. But this lover of man wants to have a giant parade. Like, why does Beso like to join up with guys?
But I just find it so funny, right? Because he said that, right? And all I get, and the reception of Lakers fans, right? That's why you could tell LA is a different type of city, but the reception of Lakers fans, but if he'd said that in person, I think he'd get rocked right over. I think they're the person they have a glass ball. Because people look at this boy, right? And if this is any other city, right? Let's say if this was Utah or something, and he said that, right? People in Utah might have been like, all right, cool, let's have a parade. You know what I mean? We ain't won a championship. We never won a championship before. Let's have a parade for that one parade. This Los Angeles, but the expectations are very, very high. So you trying to celebrate a championship you won 2 seasons ago, and you're sitting in 9th, 10th place, and you talking about let's have a parade?
Parade? You crazy?
Right.
Like, my thing is,
you probably ready to kill him.
But my thing is, right? When he win a championship, nobody party y'all. They let you all go on and do your thing by yourself. When the Dodgers win their championship, nobody bother them. Everybody let them celebrate by themselves. Now the Rams, who been in St. Louis suffering all their life, finally get out of St. Louis and come to a big market and was able to afford big time players and get themselves to a Super Bowl and finally win a Super Bowl. And you want to ride on their motorcade too. Man, bro, man, chill out, bro. Like, bro, you got like LeBron. See, and the thing is, right? This is why I really laugh at LeBron. If LeBron was a humble guy that didn't come out with all this chasing the ghosts and I feel I's the gold, and even when he was young, I's the chosen one and I can be the best player of all time thing. If he legit was more humble, and then you look at his career and say, bro, this boy really do a lot of stuff and he won 5 championships, you would actually bump him up a little bit because you'd be like, bro, he really did more than we expected him to do. We didn't expect the kid from Akron to do that. But let people say that. But every time you friggin' post a post, you got a hashtag kid from Akron. Bro, we ain't forget. Like, you was a man almost 40 now, so you've been the kid from Akron for about 37 years. Why every single time? Oh, good morning, y'all, from the kid from Akron. Like, man, bro, ain't nobody want, like, come on now. You really ticking people off with this arrogant mentality
James
and
Cat.
this arrogant personality like LeBron has that doesn't reflect what he brings to the table. People used to call Kobe arrogant too, you know. But the difference is Kobe arrogant on the court, and he was pretty okay off the court.
I don't find LeBron arrogant.
What?
I don't find LeBron arrogant at all. I find that LeBron overcompensates for people hating on him, which is immature in my opinion. But I don't think it's arrogant. I don't think he's out there trying to get people to realize he's the best. I think everything he says is in retaliation to people hating on him. Which I'm not saying that's a good thing, because if you look at someone as professional as Kobe, who had haters everywhere, Kobe just,
Exactly.
He's an attention whore.
Right, like he's immature about it. You know what I mean? Like Kobe, like, yeah, of course you hate me.
Yeah,
I hate you too. If I was killing, if my team got killed by me, like Kobe used to embrace the haters and like, yeah, cool.
But it's a difference between
and
he does attention.
It's a difference between aggressive arrogant and passive arrogant. Like LeBron to me is very passive arrogant. Like he believes, like see Kobe will come into the room like I come to dominate the room. LeBron comes into the room like I shouldn't have to dominate the room. Y'all know who I am. Like what?
That's what he said.
Like what? That's what I don't like with him. Like Kobe will come in the room like, boy, I come to eat y'all food. Like whoever got food on the table, slide it this way. Like Kobe's coming in the room like Debo. Like you can be like, boy, tuck your chin, bro. Dog, just pull up. Like that's how Kobe's coming to the room. Yeah, LeBron is coming to the room like, where my chair? Yeah. I supposed to sit at the head of the table. I don't like that. Like to me, that's passive. That's like you. Well, how they call it? What do they call it? Like you feel. Oh shit! What you call it? Entitled. Yes, you feel like they give you this king title because of the people around you that whatever do. But you believe that everyone's supposed to just, I already know he dominant. No, bro.
One of my favorite quotes ever, and that's exactly how I feel about LeBron. One of my favorite quotes ever is, "A true king will never have to tell you that he's king."
Exactly.
You just know.
LeBron wasn't the first person to say he's king. He repeats what people says. You think he came up with the name chosen one?
Listen, but that's my point. That's my point. LeBron doesn't have to tell people that he's that. A lot of people already know that he's like that. So I think, but the more people, but the more he says it, now it's like, okay, do you really believe that you're a king? Do you really believe that, or you just want other niggas to co-sign?
Like,
right?
Did Jordan have to do? And don't come with all this different social media and all that crap, because Jordan had media around him all around. But
Jordan called himself God, so I wouldn't.
I mean, Jordan did do it. But Jordan did that his opponents also did that. Like
his opponent, LeBron opponents, well not opponents, but LeBron players.
Hold on now. No, 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 no,
LeBron
no,
fast for
no.
them Kings.
It's a difference between the lotioners and your bandwagoners
What's the
and
difference?
your opponents, bro. It's a big difference.
Come
Your
on, man. You
lotioning and
see this much with
bandwagoners,
LeBron?
your lotioning and bandwagoners can go call you that because they're your bandwagoners. They are part of your tribe. But when you get on the court, like I think someone said this on ESPN the other day, like, do people actually fear LeBron? Like, do you go into on the court at this point in time? If there was a point in time, I ain't gonna lie, when he was with Miami, there was a point in time you'd be like, "Wait, this boy can destroy us tonight." But in probably the last 5 seasons, do people really fear LeBron?
Someone probably thinks it's Toronto.
No, but no, but here's the thing. You at this point in his career, you can't ask that.
What?
Nobody,
See, this is where y'all is going trying to use
nobody
this
fears
at this
Kobe
point in my
or
life.
Jordan at this point in their careers. Did they fear LeBron in his prime? Yes, they did.
Well, you
What you
say we
mean?
got to talk. Okay,
What you
for
mean
fair.
no one feared Kobe
What
at
do
this
we
point
mean
in his
by
career?
fair? What do we
You
mean
mean the
by
man who
fair?
dropped 60 points in his last year?
You really
And
want
Gordon Hayward came out and said that, boy, I was legit trying to get, like, people's like,
Did
boy,
you see Kobe's last season?
if you heard the stats, you would say, boy, fellas, them let Kobe shoot, boy. They let
They
him score
was
that.
letting him shoot. I
Boy,
watched it.
Gordon Hayward legit come out and say, bro, I was not letting this man score 40 on me. The man come out and score 60 on you.
Bro.
And you still come in front of people. Me, I actually would have played off. If you come out and score 60 on me the last year, I say, yeah, but you know that's Kobe, bro. I kind of let him do that, you know.
Did they not let Kobe score 60 points in the last game? Did
When you
you
say
watch
they,
Kobe's last season?
when you say they, what you mean? You mean the Jazz or you mean the Lakers players?
I just gonna say, you gotta
The
be
Lakers,
crazy.
the Lakers players, I think the Jazz didn't play playoff level defense, but they just got them. But the Lakers players was basically said, but you can score as much as you want to score tonight. That's what the Lakers players should do it. They said, but score as much as you want to score, shoot as much ball as you want to shoot up, we ain't gonna play it.
Kobe's last season was horrible, and that's how you know we need to retire. That dude could not get a bucket, but he looked so bad. Come on.
He did. He was washed. He's basically washed at that point in time.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't look at LeBron now and say, dude's fair him. That's not fair. Because dudes didn't really fair no 37-year-old.
But I think it's according to your definition of fair, right? Dudes wasn't a trash talk Kobe, right?
No. Because
right?
of
Dudes, yeah.
maybe no. Not at that point. No. But here's the thing. See, we ain't looking at things to the right time perspective. With these team players who now talking about how Jordan was so great and Jordan was so fair. You think back in the day was talking about that? What's his name? Who hated Jordan? Isaiah Thomas now saying, listen, the things Jordan did, bro. But when he was on the court, I never could have let him know that. Joe Dumars said, bro, I in his face. He never would have known how amazing I thought he was. Like, he'd do something spectacular, and I might face straight, and I ready to play D on the next possession. I wouldn't even giving him that wow face.
I agree with you. Gary Payton basically say something similar to.
Right. So Clyde the Glide was trash talking Jordan, was up on Jordan, but now he'd say, "Bro, Jordan was amazing." You know what I mean? So nobody competitive could do that. But you know what? Watching LeBron retire, everybody.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There will be stories about LeBron when they retire. I don't think it'll be as epic as stories about Jordan and Kobe. The stories about Jordan and Kobe are legend type of stuff. Like,
I try and add stuff to the pot. Now, look, guess what? But the difference can be is when LeBron can try to tell these stories. Like, bro, we ain't into that, bro. Like, that's what I don't like. Like, stop that.
I mean, okay, maybe.
Like, he can come in here talking about, when I was in the season, my focus was so elite. I wasn't. When I used to go home, I used to stare at the wall and envision this championship.
This is stories could be about LeBron. This could be a stories about LeBron. The stories about LeBron. See, the stories about Kobe and Jordan are more fair based, right? More trash talking. You don't want to wake up the sleeping giant. That's not the stories about LeBron, and we start to see it now will be about how high his basketball IQ is. That would be the stories that people tell about LeBron.
Oh,
They'd say
Uh-huh.
on the court, he was
amazing.
one of the smartest players to ever play the game. That would be the stories what
Or
people tell about
unstoppable,
LeBron.
or just not. But it's never.
Yeah.
That sounds like
It's
a snooze fest to me.
But here's
No,
the
I
thing.
mean that's good in its own right. You know what I
I
mean?
want
It's
you to
just not
admit
what Kobe is.
since you could say that that's what LeBron could do, which I agree, that is a LeBron move. But can you admit that Jordan dropping a documentary is a LeBron move?
Who made the documentary?
The Jordan documentary that he made himself.
He didn't make that himself.
Jordan, they had tapes. They was recording the entire last season, and Jordan chose. He had the tapes, and he chose when to drop it, and he was speaking about his accomplishments in the documentary. Is that not a LeBron move?
You realize that at that point in time, the network came to Jordan and said, "We are going to film this for your documentary."
It was he is the commissioner. Renamed.
Yes, because they realized how big of an impact Jordan was to this. If that was the same, watch today. If they go and do that, you know who will do that? LeBron and Rich Paul will come together and say, "Hey,
I want you to believe
this
that
is my last season. I'm gonna film my own documentary,
I want
and I'm
you to
gonna
believe-
I'd be like, bro,
believe
like,
that already in the works.
and that's what's so sad about it. Like, my thing is, like I said, it's a difference. I mean, I don't have no problem with people believing in themselves and having that mentality, that internal mentality that, hey, I am the greatest and I am the best at whatever I do. Okay, cool. At some point, all the greats or all the people who are good at whatever they do have that whole internal ambition that, hey, I am the best at what I do, or I'm pretty good at what I do. The problem is it gets annoying. Like, you ever have that coworker who every time they finish a task be like, boy, that's a little bit of dirt, boy. I used to do this all the time. Okay, boy. I mean, we just work with you every day, you know. Then the next day you come and be like, yeah, bro, I do this again, boy. I finish all my work on time. Oh my God. Yes, bro. You this is why we pay you every week, because you come to work and do your job.
No, I agree. He talks, and I even more so this season than any other season. He talks way too much, bro. Like,
But even at the
just hoop, like what you running on with.
in the beginning of the season, he was like, y'all keep that same energy for my team. So that, like, wait, what you running on with? It's like it's almost like he sees the world as a bunch of Skip Baylesses. Like, Skip is
my point. That's my point. Like, everything he says to me, it sounds like he's replying to someone who criticized him, to some criticism. Every time he opened his mouth, it sounds like he's replying to some criticism. Like he's doing it just to go against the people who criticize him. That's how it sounds to me.
Yeah, and it's a little weird, but because I don't think he uses it as motivation. I just think he just craved the attention that it comes with. You know what I mean? He knows that, but if I tweet this, someone could say something about this. This could be a topic of discussion tomorrow. If I say this, this could be a topic of discussion tomorrow.
But why?
If I show up to the game with wine in my hand, you know what I mean? People could be talking about it. If I show up with a cigar in my hand, people be talking about it. Like, you doing all these things. It's weird, boy. Like, why are you so obsessed with that spotlight? You know what I mean? But it is what it is. That's how he's always really been. Ever since he made the decision in Miami, you know, he's always been a person who's really embraced the spotlight. I think that's a good and bad thing because it's allowed him to be the face of the NBA for so long. But it's also a weird thing when you talk about, just like, I mean, the attention that you bring to your team and the attention that you bring to your teammates, the scrutiny. Like, even if this wasn't Los Angeles.
It's annoying.
Even if this wasn't Los Angeles, you could imagine the scrutiny he'd be getting somewhere else, right?
I mean, even in Los Angeles, like, okay, look at legit the next team. Like, we ain't see Kawhi all season. I see them having memes on Instagram right now with Kawhi dragging some slippers and he cornrows, say he looked like he going to the store for backwood. Like, Like,
That's what I'm saying. He was at the Super Bowl. I mean,
yeah, so it's like Kawhi come this way. You know how cold-hearted you have to be to show up to the Super Bowl in slippers and short pants. Boy, that's a cold dude, boy. Like, bro, that's a legit. I don't care what y'all think about me. Like, that right there is a mentality of whatever. So it's like Kawhi could be in the same city, play in the same building, same spotlight, and let's not make it seem like, oh, he's a far less of a player, because number one, LeBron only has 4 rings, Kawhi has 3. Number two, Kawhi has beaten LeBron head to head on multiple occasions, and like I say, Kawhi could not show up to games, Kawhi could not play, Kawhi could not do these things, and no one bats an eye. The second, LeBron, like you say, because of his personality, he believes he has to be seen. That means you can be seen when things good and things bad. You realize that the Lakers only like a game behind the Clippers. The Clippers losing just as much games as the Lakers, But nobody out here saying, boy, Kawhi is this and Kawhi is that, and why they don't blow up this team. And plus, they make some hell of a good trades at the deadline.
Yeah.
So if you see Kawhi touch the court this season, and let's say next month, right before playoffs, and Paul George come back, that's a team that could friggin' smoke the Lakers in a 7-game series again. So it's all about, like you say, like, why are you bringing this attention to you if you're not living up to that? Even when it comes to people like Tom Brady and stuff, and football, like, you see the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Like, it's every time Obi has a drama, it's I want to leave. Like, Aaron Rodgers want to leave since 2015? Almost all season, it's will Aaron Rodgers leave? Oh, his camping. Oh, his plane just left and head for LA. Like, he can't take a trip to LA. If Aaron Rodgers catch the bus home, they gotta make it say, he want to ride with his teammates. Like, bro, he might just want to catch a bus ride. Like, he just want to be a normal person. And then when you got other guys here doing this, like, legit in the same league, doing the same thing, playing the same position, it's like no one bothers them. And that's because, like you say, no one does Tom Brady call himself the GOAT? Did you hear you see him say that the kid from LA or California? Or do you see Tom Brady go and say, I was chasing Montana all these years, or I wanted to be the best quarterback of all time when I first got, like, bro, nobody asks you all that. But if you go there and perform and you win games and you actually put your foot down and be as dominant as you are, like you say, no one is up. A king don't have to say he's the king. Tom Brady has never once put a GOAT status up on his Instagram page, and he's winning. Dog, yeah, if he lose in the finals and say, I still believe, I like, dog, like, you forget that time LeBron lose the finals, and he say, I don't have nothing else to prove because I felt like that time I beat Golden State, I was already the greatest player of all time. Like, bro, we talking about now. We ask you, how come you get beat just now, 20 minutes ago in that game? You still running on about 2 years ago when you, like, come on, man. Like, it ain't cool, man. Right. Wait, it's annoying. Like, I even I never hear Tiger Woods them come out and proclaim themselves to be like that. I don't hear Serena Williams them come, and these are people who are legit. You know who another annoying person is, like LeBron? Floyd Mayweather. And you know when you have to do that? When it's a debate. Like, Serena don't have to debate. Tiger Woods don't have to debate. Tom Brady don't have to debate. So it's like, I don't really have to tell people that. But when you get in a situation where it's Floyd Mayweather, who calls himself the GOAT, but you are not a heavyweight, usually they look at the GOAT being a heavyweight or something like Muhammad Ali or something like that. And it's a debate. And then in the NBA, you have like a LeBron, a Jordan, a Kareem type debate. And now it's all of a sudden, I have to keep saying it. So the more I say it, the more people believe it. Like, no, bro. LeBron been to 9 NBA finals? if LeBron had won, or 10, you've been to 10 NBA finals. Tom Brady been to 10 Super Bowls. If LeBron did win just as much NBA championships as Tom Brady win Super Bowls, you think we'd still have GOAT discussions? Me, myself, being one of the biggest LeBron haters in the world, would have say, everything cool. Dog is the GOAT. Just like how all y'all Tom Brady haters, it's come to the realization that y'all have to bow down and give homage to Tom Brady being the greatest quarterback of all time. As much as y'all hate him, and as much as he probably was the arch rival of y'all favorite player or favorite quarterback, y'all still gotta say, "Bon, well, he went 7 out of 10. You know, X, Y, and Z. He's the GOAT."
It's amazing, not no matter what the topic is, Tom Brady's come up with.
Tom Brady gotta get come up.
That's the undisputed GOAT.
Anyway, any shout-outs before we wrap this one up? I want to shout out Buddy. Buddy's doing big things. Buddy just dropped 30-something. They lose. But Buddy, he doing big things, right? I'm glad to see you get your numbers. I'm glad to see you starting the thing now. I hoping that you could ride away till the end of the season.
Buddy also in these tight situations, man. I like Buddy, and I'm glad he's be doing good. But boy, these teams he's be going on just don't do him no justice, bro. Like, you got fellas like Seth Curry who could go and ride a team now in Brooklyn, but Buddy got to be suffering no chain in Indianapolis. Like, that ain't like that, man. That ain't right.
Well, the good thing is he already getting money. So hopefully now you ride this way up to the end of the season, and then a contender could try to trade for you once they see you putting up them numbers. That's all I ask for. At least in Sacramento, not only is Sacramento bad, but they're bringing them off the bench. So you got to pick a struggle, right? At least you can start and take up all the shots.
I guess.
So shout out, Buddy.
Shout out, Buddy.
We should know.
Obviously, shout out Tom Brady.
Silence right now. Yeah.
Shout out Odell. Odell helped me with Odell and Cooper Cup. Y'all helped me win fantasy this year, and also helped me win some of Sabas money a lot this year too. Good job. Who else?
Shout out LeBron. Just hoop and stop talking. Shout out Westbrook.
Shout out Westbrook, man. Westbrook needs some love. Shout out Westbrook.
If he needs some love, he needs to go home and get that. He ain't getting no job.
But so yeah, man. Now the football is over, we'll a lot of basketball talk will be on the horizon. But obviously, moves can still happen in the NFL. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more coverage, local.
All-Star weekend this weekend, eh?
All-Star weekend this weekend. When flag football starting soon, right?
Flag football, they just made an announcement today that flag football starts on March 27th. The season is finally officially back. I guess they got their permission because I see them posting it all over Instagram and everywhere. So flag football will be back this year, guys, March 27th at the Thomas A. Robinson Center on the field out front. So we will try to get you guys some live footage, some interviews, some things going on. And with flag being back, hopefully we could get government league basketball back and night league basketball back and get things going again. It's looking like a good year for sports, and we hope to be number one provider for coverage of Bahamian sports going forward.
Most definitely. So until next week, got All-Star weekend this weekend. Like you said, we'll give you a recap of that next week. But until next week, it's the Xperts signing off. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for rocking with us. And we got more good stuff along the way. So until next week, we out.